Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Josh, and I am the fan of the State of the Saints podcast. Now, Saints lost today. Defense played well as usual, and the offense did not play well as usual, and we lost to the lowly Panthers. A lot of people are mad today, and I mean, TJ is going off. And TJ was just going nuts today. And I gotta say, I don't really agree with TJ's take here. I think TJ is talking from emotion instead of an actual factual breakdown of the facts. And I'm going to tell you why. When this season started, I supported Dennis Allen. I continued to support Dennis Allen up to halfway through the season when he was losing games because I don't like the impatience of today's game. In the old days, a coach got a good 3 or 4 years or 5 years to prove himself before they would even consider firing him. Nowadays, a coach gets 5 games, and I didn't want to do that to Dennis Allen, especially since he's been so instrumental to our success in the last 6 or 7 years. I just saw no reason to do that. But then I turned against Dennis Allen because we found out the whole dirty way he did Jameis. And that upset me pretty good. And that got me off the Dennis Allen train pretty quick. But I'm starting to get back on the Dennis Allen train, even with today's loss. Oh, he still did Jameis dirty. There's no question. But I don't think Dennis Allen necessarily had malicious intent in that. I just think he made a bad or uninformed decision. This is a guy who's not used to making decisions for the offensive side of the ball. And I think he was kind of panicked. And so, he did Jameis the way he did him. I got other videos about that. TJ's got other videos about that. I'm going to link TJ's podcast down below, as I always do when I do these State of the Saints reactions. But I'm back. Unlike what TJ says, TJ wants to get Dennis Allen out of here in the worst way. And Dennis Allen has won me back over where I want to give him another chance as head coach. The answers are really simple to why that is, and they come from TJ's own arguments. What has the Saints' problem been all year? Offense. There was a period for the first couple games where our defense was really bad, and then throughout basically the entire month of October, our defense was pretty bad too. But the fact is, Dennis Allen has done a great job of getting our defense back rolling and back cooking, and we are back to being a top 5 defense in this league. And you got to understand, he lost 2 star players, C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Marcus Williams. And some of you might say, well, it should have been the next man up mentality. Maybe. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson and especially Marcus Williams, was so integral to our defensive scheme that losing him was just... There was no way you were just going to recover smoothly from that. There was going to be some growing pains with Marcus Williams gone, especially after C.J. Gardner-Johnson left too. So, Dennis had his hands full with getting the defense back on track. That topped with the fact the Honey Badger was kind of playing scared, and, we had some problems. But TJ is complaining about the offense and complaining about Dennis Allen while admitting that the offense is the problem. What side of the ball does Dennis Allen coach? He coaches defense. That's what he does. He doesn't coach offense. If you think our offense this year was bad, wait till you see a Dennis Allen coached offense. It would have been 100 times worse than it was because Dennis Allen doesn't know anything about offense. Which means that the play of the offense largely is not on him. It is on Pete Carmichael where it is supposed to be. How are you going to blame, you look at the other great coaches, Bill Belichick, for example. Bill Belichick had Josh McDaniels all those years to coach the offense. That's how he got to the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick is a defense coach. He don't know nothing about no offense. And you can see it in the play of the Patriots the last couple of years with Josh McDaniels gone. And I know part of that is Tom Brady leaving too, but part of that is Josh McDaniels being a great offensive coordinator and not being there no more. We can do this in reverse too. Sean Payton's an offense coach. But for years he had no defense. He didn't have a good defensive coordinator or nothing. And we scored points, but we didn't get to the Super Bowl. That's not on Sean Payton. Sean can't coach defense. Picture a Sean Payton coach defense. He don't know nothing about defense. You can't blame Sean Payton for the way a defense plays. I know we like to look at the head coach as like everything is their responsibility, but in reality, that's just not true. Every single coach in this league is generally only truly familiar with one side of the ball, either offense or defense. Dennis Allen happens to be a defense guy. And guess what? He's got his defense rolling. So here's what I propose. I said in my last video about this that, a bunch of pretty good quarterbacks were going to be available for pretty cheap. Aaron Rodgers is going to be out there. Jimmy G is going to be out there. Brock Purdy's probably going to be out there. A lot of them are going to be out there. We're going to get ourselves some, one way or another, we're going to get a good quarterback for relatively cheap. So here's what I propose. Josh McDaniels is probably going to be fired if he hasn't been fired already. Has he been fired already? I don't remember if he has or not. Either way, Josh McDaniels is one of the greatest offensive coordinators of all time. Maybe not quite as good as Sean Payton, but probably in the top 5 or 10 in all-time history in the NFL. And because Josh McDaniels had another awful season as a head coach, that means he's going to be on the market for pretty cheap, which means we can snatch him up. We can pay him, I don't want to say pennies, but we can pay him a very small salary for a guy his status because he just had such a bad year. And if you bring Josh McDaniels in as an offensive coordinator and keep Dennis Allen on as the head coach, you've got Josh Allen as the OC, and you've got Dennis Allen, who's basically the acting DC. Josh McDaniel and Dennis Allen would make an incredible coaching tandem. Picture a Josh McDaniel-led offense and a Dennis Allen-led defense. We'd at least hit the playoffs almost every year. And both those guys are pretty young yet, so they have a lot of coaching years left inside of them. They've got a lot of coaching left in them. So I say, let's keep Dennis Allen on. Unless Sean Payton comes back. If Sean Payton comes back, that's obviously a better option. Or if suddenly Bill Belichick becomes available, right? Obviously that's a better option. But for now, I say Dennis Allen has done enough. You got to judge Dennis Allen mainly by what he's done with his defense, because he's a defense coach. You can't judge a defense coach, an offense. You can't judge a defensive coach based on what the offense is doing. It's just completely unfair. Dennis Allen doesn't play that side of the ball. But you know who does play that side of the ball? Josh McDaniels. So, to recap and to repeat myself one more time, I believe that we should pursue Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator in the offseason and keep Dennis Allen on as our coach because he's going to be basically our DC as well. And what we're going to have is both an offense and a defense that's pretty darn good. Will we get to a Super Bowl? Who knows? But we're going to field a pretty good team every year with those two together. And like I said, we can get Josh McDaniels for cheap because of how poorly he did in I keep wanting to say Oakland, but it's actually Las Vegas now. But think about what I'm saying. All you Dennis Allen haters out there, think about this. Think about Dennis Allen and Josh McDaniels together. Dennis knows he's not going to have to worry about the offense. So he's not even going to try to make decisions for the offense. The way he did Jameis this year, that ain't even going to happen. He's not even going to involve himself in that. He's going to stick to his side of the ball, which is defense, which is exactly what Bill Belichick does up in New England. Part of what makes Bill Belichick so great is because he knows what he's good at, and what he's not good at, he doesn't mess with. He delegates to other people who are good at the things that he's not good at. That's a big part of why Bill Belichick's been so successful. And if we bring Josh McDaniels to New Orleans as an OC, offensive coordinator, Dennis Allen knows he's not going to have to worry about the defense. He's not going to have to worry about the offense. He's very rarely, if ever, going to have to make a decision about the offense, even behind the scenes. I mean, he'll have the final say, but I mean, it'll basically be Josh McDaniels' say. He can just let Josh McDaniels do what he does with offense, and he can worry about his defense, and they're going to make a great team. So that's where I'm going with this, man. I want to bring Sean Payton back if there's a chance he'll come back, but if not, let's bring in Josh McDaniels, keep Dennis Allen, and we'll have a successful team. Cash App's link down below, as is the link to TJ's podcast. Guess I'll see you guys next year as far as the State of the Saints reactions go. Disappointing season. Today pretty much sucked. But what can you do? Our offense was horrible all year. That's not on Dennis Allen. It just isn't. Anyway, that's all for today.